people will quit a little too early, even if sometimes they're having rough months as a freelancer.
I have a gut feeling that this project might not go good, and still I took that up and it went bad. So I have to fire it. So always trust your gut, please.
I don't want everyone to mindlessly drop out though. That's
that is
probably not a good decision. That when I have moments like meeting IIRW members in person and seeing these guys are like insanely talented. Wow. Where would I have found these people without doing what I have done? First of all, I think nobody is ever happy with the amount of money they make. And if you've really found your purpose this early in life, you should be happy, man. You asked Saksham for a direct referral, right? And that referral, basically he told me that, hey, this guy is good, you should check him out. And then I checked out your profile. And you also displayed a lot of your work on your profile on Behance.
So welcome to another episode of the VYRus Show, and this is the first episode in physical with a very wonderful guest that I would like to introduce, Suba. And I have been quite a huge fan of Suba, and I guess you all are also. So Suba, I know a lot of my followers and audience knows about you, but would you like to tell us about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you for the praise and thank you for supporting our content and working with me on some really interesting branding projects. But to introduce myself, I am Suba. I have been running an agency called Atomik Growth that helps venture capitalists with their podcasts end to end, from pre-production, thinking of who to get on the podcast as guests, to what they should talk about, from other engaging moments in podcasts that they've appeared on. So crafting a podcast and then packaging it up, distributing it, all turnkey. And then before that, I was working at a YouTuber's company, one of the fastest growing finance YouTubers. And I was responsible for social media management. So that's really where I learned a lot about social media and content. And I've also been creating content, which is why I have a really sick community and IIRW, from which we both are just coming back. An insane meetup in Bangalore with some really fun people. And
Yeah, that is great. When you talk about your service, I was really shocked when to understand that you built a really end-to-end service on top of a video editing. That is the core skill that you are providing. Right. But the way you have built everything is mind-blowing. And I was really impressed by someone. You're 20 years old, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Sorry?
How old are you?
I am 23.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is really fascinating, and you are also crushing it and making a good amount of money. How do you feel about that?
First of all, I think nobody is ever happy with the amount of money they make, primarily because there's always a
numbers game.
Yeah. Like you climb one mountain and then you see, what else is nearby, and then you see a larger mountain, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's ever I don't feel happy about it. When I look back through my camera roll, that's when I'm like, yo, this is pretty sick. When I have moments like, meeting IIRW members in person and seeing these guys are like insanely talented. Wow. Where would I have found these people without doing what I have done or am doing? Nowhere. So I think those are the moments where you feel good, right? But apart from that, it's whatever.
That's every rich people say. But no worries, yeah. I really respect, and we are all coming from a meetup, and this is the first time I'm meeting Suba and meeting you, and it was great in terms of the energy that you gave, the kind of people that were there, thanks to the community that you have built. Coming to that, with my next question, when did you think that it is your moment that I can do this, I can go really big, I will be happy doing this, whatever you are doing right now?
In terms of IIRW or Atomik Growth?
Not in terms of IIRW, in terms of your agency and the whole community building.
Both of them? I think they both will have two very different answers, right? Yeah. But if we talk about Atomik Growth, it was simply, I think actually both. They both were just natural steps forward.
Okay.
So it's like right now, if you're doing branding, the natural step forward for you might just be, I've already done branding for this one school info group, right? Why don't I just expand and try to get more groups? It's like a natural step forward. And then you can only, Steve Jobs quote, you can only connect the dots when you look backwards. So when I do look backwards and I try to think of what dots were in my journey, I think it's all just been this thing I did, which was really small, theme pages. Boom, I started creating fitness content for myself because that was theme pages. From fitness content to a job, from the job to job in content shorts, then from there to short form content agency, and then that short form content agency just became a podcast agency because that we had our best results. And continued creating content from way back there. So now I had content for myself, an agency, and I'm like, look, dude, this content is great and all, but like, where's the money, right? And then there's a huge gap in the market in terms of what IIRW is fulfilling, right? Boom. So then IIRW is like the next natural step, and it's also a thing of higher leverage. So, yeah.
Yeah. So talking about IIRW, that was a very interesting story about natural path. I have experienced that a lot of people get confused. They want to do a lot of things at the same time. But coming back to the IIRW part, for those who have don't know, we work together, and I got to know Subha through our project. He is the guest of this podcast as well as my client. So would love to know more about IIRW and the branding and everything that we did together later in the episode.
For sure.
Coming-
So,
Mhm.
like around the branding, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when people normally start a new company, they obviously they need branding. Now there are two ways I think people go about branding. They either go to Canva and look at the templates, or they start looking at maybe like how can I get a logo made instead of trying to get a brand identity. And I think second or maybe later time founders will then think of like, yeah, let's just get it right from the start. And especially if it's a company that they know, like they're putting a lot into and they're investing in it and they know it's going to work and they are willing to invest from their previous venture, that's when I think they'll make the choice to go and work with a brand, like make a brand identity and not just a logo. So Vaibhav, why don't you tell people how you got to me?
See, this is a very interesting story, and Suba has been the best, and one of not I would say one of the best client I've ever had so far.
Appreciate
In
it.
terms of the type of feedbacks he was giving, you were giving, in terms of everything that you were doing, in terms of the vision that you had. I won't take the credit for the aesthetic that is current because in terms like we usually create mood boards and all, but initially you and Arthur, both of you were already sure what you want, the old money style, old money look. And talking about how I got to work with you was through networking and referral. Thanks to Saiyam. I've been following you and Saiyam, both of you, for more than 2 years, I would say. And this whole time, I was constantly trying to be part of a community whenever there is an opportunity. That's when Saiyam launched ECB. I got a part of that, and I got a couple of feedbacks, so he knew I existed, and I'm trying to crack in the content space. I haven't cracked yet, but still trying my best. So he knew that I am someone and I'm good at my craft and all. And then I got to reach out to him, and then everything is history.
Nice. And I think, Web, of what really worked for you was that you asked Saksham for a direct referral, right? And that referral, basically, he told me that, hey, this guy's good, you should check him out. And then I checked out your profile. And you also displayed a lot of your work on your profile and Behance. So I think that is what, was like, okay, this guy is really into branding, right? It's not like he also makes a website, he also does this, he also does that. Like, yeah, this guy does what I am looking for. And I think he lives it. Checked out your YouTube, the whole podcast. I think that helped, right?
Okay.
Like, okay, this guy is into it. And then we had a call, and then it was simple from there, right?
That's good. Thank you for the appreciation. Means a lot. Everything that I've been trying to do for the last 2 years, more than 2 years, kind of help here. That everything you mentioned here. So yeah, because what I've experienced in terms of freelancing and all, we do lot of things. We take a lot of steps, but we don't get immediate result of that. And that things compound over like maybe a year, maybe 2 years. And that's what happened with me with working with you. So that was an interesting thing. And I think, would you like to add something here that people lose the interest of doing things that they're not getting instant result on? And they're like,
Absolutely, man. People will quit a little too early. Even if sometimes they're having rough months as a freelancer, they'll just go back to their job, which I understand. It's not easy to have no one to manage you, because our entire life we've been managed by a teacher or our parents, and then you're stepping out into the real world. It's expected that you go and get a job, right? And I mean, I did as well, right? I got a job that taught me so much, and I feel like that really helped me in terms of starting my own agency and how to run a team, because I saw how the team was being run there and started, and I just never quit. Obviously, I had months where we lost clients, went down. Can happen now as well, but I don't think quitting is not the way to go. And
Exactly. Patience.
but again, you should know when to quit.
Okay.
Like
Tell me more about that. Yeah. How?
it's obviously difficult to judge if you're quitting too early, but if you've been trying for 2 years at the same thing and if it didn't work, obviously there's an argument that okay, 2 years, maybe 2 years and 1 month it would have worked. But you should be smart enough to know when something's totally not working and obviously iterate, move on.
Yeah. You should know the right time to not quit, I would say, pivot to something that might work.
Yeah.
You can try something different.
But what if money is running out?
Okay.
What then?
Yeah. Money is important, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming to the off topic, what's the story behind your hair?
My hair?
Yeah. How long it took to grow such long, and how do you take care of it?
Yeah, I don't take care of it. Actually,
Okay.
maybe I should take more care of it.
Okay.
People go crazy when I tell them that I don't really use conditioner. Sometimes I do, but it's rare. And everyone tells me, yes, go use conditioner. But normally I just leave my hair. And it started with me being lazy to go to the barber. It used to waste my time.
Okay.
So I just stopped going, and then it just grew and it kept growing, and I just never cared. And now apparently people ask me, what happened? Why your hair? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It just grew.
It looks good. It looked cool.
Appreciate.
Yeah, and
What about
I-
you? What
I was
happened
about to
there?
come on that. I wanted a man bun, so everything that I have done is just to knot my hair above. That's it, and I also don't take care of it. No oil, nothing.
Nice.
My mother, everyone tells me, "थोड़ा तेल लगाओ,
Yes,
थोड़ा
yes,
ध्यान
yes.
दो." I'm like,
100%.
ठीक है, कर लेंगे. Sometimes in a month or two, I use it, I do it, and फिर I
But here, the interesting thing is that I know I'm going to go bald.
okay.
Because my entire line, like my entire family line is bald.
Okay.
So I know that's going to happen. Might happen in 3 years, might happen in, 15 years. That's maybe why I don't care about it. Because if it's inevitable, and I know it's inevitable, it is inevitable. So by not taking care of it, maybe I'm shortening the timeline, but it is going to happen anyway, right? So I might as well make money and pull off the bald, rich guy, jacked look.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accept it.
An example? Any famous personality that you want to look like?
This is one of our clients actually,
Okay.
who is like that. He's also very like upfront and candid. He's like that type where
Okay.
it's like a bit ADHD, but he says it to your face, and he's bald, and he's young, and there's so many founders as well that I know that are just like bald. I don't know why. Jeff Bezos, think about
Yeah.
it, but yeah.
Yeah. Nice guess.
Yeah.
Cool. So coming back to you, talking about your journey, you did not go to college.
Right.
Do you miss it?
Honestly, at the start, I really did, because you see your friends' stories, right? They're like, oh yeah, new countries, all that.
Yeah.
At the start, I did feel the FOMO. Fast forward 2 years, they're stuck in that one country while I've probably visited that country, lived there, and gone to many more.
Okay.
And now I feel like the FOMO must have been reversed, right? Because sure, yeah, okay, you're studying somewhere in the US, somewhere there. Great. I've been there. I wouldn't want to live there for 2 years.
Okay.
I'd rather, and then I've more freedom because I can work remotely, go wherever I want. So I would definitely not prefer to have been studying abroad, which most of my friends from my school did, right? Otherwise, as for experience, no, I feel like I have a better life. So, yeah.
That is for sure. You are in a better position in your life, and we all appreciate that. Everyone, I think, most of the people in our community look up to you and want to be somewhere where you are in the future. So that is a great thing. You are inspiring. I would say in a really good way for the youth of the India.
I don't want everyone to mindlessly
everyone.
drop out, though. That's
Yeah, that is
probably not a good decision.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
yeah.
would you recommend really? Would you really recommend people who are in 12th should go to college or not?
Depends on their interests, degree, and skill set, right? So
Okay.
going for a BBA,
Mhm.
don't go. just don't.
Doing a college degree just for the sake of getting a degree, you won't recommend.
Yeah. And what does a BBA really teach you, right? If you're going to waste more years, look, if you don't have the grit inside you, then go. Like, what else are you going to do anyway? If you don't want to do something on your own, you need to be managed. Go to college. What better thing do you have to do?
Okay.
Otherwise, if you want to become a doctor, go. We need doctors, dude.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
die. So that's definitely there. But otherwise, like if you're really creative, like I have one person in Atomic who goes to a design school. At this
Okay.
point, he's making way too much. He's like 18 years old. It's University of Design Arts, right?
UID?
No. Somewhere in Pune.
UID, Pune.
Symbiosis Arts
Oh, okay, cool.
art section, I think.
Okay.
Right? So he's making way too much to still be in college.
I was that kid.
Yeah.
In my college, I did a BTech and I graduated last year. So
You graduated
yeah, last
successfully.
year. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, successfully. Yeah. That is the funny story. I was doing a job in Bangalore. The reason to get into Bangalore, get a job, and I want to just avoid my studies and academics. So to full time focus on design. So in the last semester, you get NOC if you are having a good job above like 7 LP. And all.
Yes,
So
yes.
I got a 7.5 LP a job. I'm like, it's cool. But in Bangalore, it's not cool. And I knew that is not enough for me. So I just came here, completed my college. May, I completed my college. In the same month, I put my notice in the job. I'm like, the purpose of the job is done now.
Right.
Let's move on to what I actually want to do. And here I am, like doing
Freelancing,
freelancing. And all.
right.
If I was in the job, I would not have been able to work with you.
Right.
That could have been the worst case scenario because of not having enough time, not being able to invest into community. Or would you say something else?
No. Do you know Rishikesh,
I
thumbnail designer?
I think Rushikesh.
What's his last name?
I don't know. Rushikesh M. I think.
Thumbnails? I don't know.
I think
But
there is a guy
I got to know someone as well who's now doing other stuff, who was also at your previous workplace.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm
I
not too
know
sure.
there was a. He's in college.
I don't know. I forgot.
Okay, he is in. There was a guy.
There was a guy. Okay.
He was for summer internship. Yeah, for 2 months.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, without your job as well, you might not be in Bangalore and you might not. Who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you chose the freelancing
Yeah.
path. It's
It
better
is
for
hard,
you.
by the way. Yeah.
It is hard.
It is really hard. But like it is 10 times or more, even more than 10 times harder than what I was doing in job. But the frustration is zero. In my job, I was having. I think this might upset a lot of people in my company, but I was having so much frustration because of the direction of the management I was being given in terms of creative direction, in terms of time management, or a lot of stuff.
Don't you get that even when freelancing?
No. I get to choose who I want to work with. I have
Right.
recently fired. I have a really interesting story about freelancing. 2 stories. I will get out to it in a while. But I recently have to fire 2-3 clients just because they were not fit. They were dancing on my head.
Right.
Yeah. Yesterday itself, I was on call. It was a discussion. We started the project a week ago. It was like 1.25K dollars project. Decent for a freelancer for me. The timeline was 2 weeks, but the work that they were trying to do and the way they were working, they hired me as an identity designer.
Right.
I am not able to speak the word identity, irrespective of it being my core service. So don't mind.
No, you can say it properly.
Sometimes I say, if I have to speak the word brand identity,
Brand.
if I have to
Right.
speak brand identity together,
It becomes a little
I
weird.
mess
Just
up.
practice
I
it
fumble.
more. You'll be fine.
I have been practicing
Like in the
since
mirror.
I got-
Brand identity. Yeah?
See, it is, I don't know. The word identity is something that I have not been able to speak in school itself.
Okay.
ID
fine.
card, identity.
Dude, have you been taking the accent mitigation
I am.
courses in IIRW?
Yes, I am taking it.
Good.
And I'm trying
Do
my
your
best
best.
to. Yeah. Like I know, like this is the best thing that I can do to fix this.
Right.
So I'm trying my best. So I was hired as an identity designer, but they were hand-holding and interfering. Like, do this design, try this logo, try that. I'm like, this is not VWork. You are an agency. They were also an agency.
Right.
There was a client, just like we used to work with you
Right.
for the podcast. But they were like, no, we are not the mediator. We want to work with you. This is a collaborative project. I'm like, sorry, this is not how it works. On the phone, I said, I will be refunding the money. Thank you for your interest. This is not things go. So this is something that I was
So
talking about.
micromanagement, basically.
Too much.
Way too much, right?
200%. It was too much.
Lower ticket.
Literally, yeah. So and also this was like I have a gut feeling that this project might not go good, and still I took that up and it went bad. So I have to fire it. So always trust your gut, please.
And I think also that lower ticket generally equals to more problems.
So many problems. Yeah. Tell us about your story.
Yeah, I
Tell us your,
lost my train of thought, but yeah, sorry.
Tell me a client horror story.
Client horse recently, man, this one VC that we were working with, again, one of our lowest ticket, right? And we started with them like a while back. He had overdue invoices and we completed work, overdue invoices, whatever. Then Saiyam actually sent because our project managers send invoices. Saiyam or Vihan, I'm not sure, one of them. I think it was Vihan. He was sending invoices and he didn't reply, but got the work done, right? Just by not replying to the invoices, but still like completed the final batch of deliverables. And then later comes to us and says that, and this is what, like $3,000 or something. So it's really insignificant for us, but you know, it's just about principle. The client then tells us, guys, your work sucks. Basically, in corporate lingo, your work sucks. I am willing to pay 2,000 instead of 3,000. Take it or leave it. We're like, not take it or leave it. Sorry, he didn't say that. I'm willing to pay 2,000, and we will no longer be working with you. Right? First of all, I was about to cancel after he paid the invoice anyway, and because like it wasn't worth working with, and we just voided the invoices. We're like, you know what, it's fine. Just, you live on, and he's gonna get what's coming to him. You know.
Okay.
That's just not the way to operate as a VC working in government.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yeah. Reputable, you know, like if I show this guy's LinkedIn, you wouldn't expect it, but it is what it is. The cost of business, and that too assigned under an SLA. So legally, he's just wrong, but he knows I'm not going to sue him for $1,000. So yeah.
So you just agreed for the 2,000?
No, I didn't take any money.
You don't take any money?
No.
Why?
Why? Because why would I take less money? That is me accepting that it's our fault, right?
Okay.
If I took less money, it's like, yeah, I agree with you. Our work was bad. I'll take the 2,000.
Okay. Interesting.
No. Why will I take less?
So you just gave the deliverables and closed?
Deliverables already given, right?
Okay, already
He
given.
didn't reply for a month on the invoice emails because communications over Slack.
Okay. There was a client with me based in Bangalore itself. We used to work together and then she ghosted for like 4 months. Yeah, invoice. No, like we were in terms of feedback, like logo design and all. I sent that version round 3 of iteration, ghosted for 4 months, 3-4 months. And then she's like, okay, we need to go back to square one. So client horror stories are never ending. I even had a client where I got a legal notice from a court to my parents.
Really?
Just for 30,000 rupees.
What the hell?
Rupees. $300.
Dude, any designer, please just go up market. You won't face any problems like this.
Yeah.
Just
And
charge
like,
more.
Exactly. And that was me in the initial months of freelancing. Like I have made so many mistakes that I can create a whole video of what not to do.
Yeah.
Based on my personal experience. I learned the hard way. But still. It was all about like not liking the work, refund the advance. But advance is not refunded. And the contract was even like I mistake that not using my contract. But even he shared a contract. And in his contract, there was nothing mentioned about...
you don't sign 2 contracts, man, first of all.
I never sent my contract in that particular case.
Right.
That has been the only case where I missed or I overlooked sending my own agreement.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like I never that was the only place where I mistake and everything fell apart.
IIRW would have saved you.
Yeah.
Sorry, cheap plug.
No worries.
But yes.
Cool. So like even before IIRW, I was a part of business coaching. You know, Chris Do Future.
Yeah, Chris Do, I know.
So I was a part of their accelerator program for around like 5-6 months, $100 per month. So that was also a great thing. So everything I was learning in these communities was after making those mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think from my perspective, you should know what not to do by doing it first.
I agree, dude. As much as we have stuff in IIRW, I think the best way to learn is still by fucking up.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But when you get higher and higher, it might be worth revisiting certain things. Like if you're making a hire, right now our hiring module has the least people join because it doesn't apply to everyone.
Yeah.
But when you are in the hiring stage, if you ever are, it's going to save you, man.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes in handy.
And I am still in the dilemma of building a team and working as an individual or going in an agency model, because I am not ready for that yet. Maybe in future. But that hiring module really helped me. So please, guys.
You want to get into that dilemma?
I still am in the dilemma of should I hire a
there
is two dilemma that I am right now. Should I hire a person who is way starting in the design industry, like level 1, level 2, as an intern, as a junior intern?
Do you have too much demand right now?
No.
Then what's the point? Then you should handle it until you have too much demand.
Yeah. I to increase demand, outreach is the way. So I am trying my best to crack the outreach part. Because if we talk about the branding thing, the whole topic of this podcast, freelancing and building, doing creative business as a designer. So if you talk about that, what made you look for an identity, brand identity, and if you were not in the need of it, would anyone would have been able to sell you that?
I don't think so.
That's the whole problem with our industry, specifically what I'm doing. Logo design, building a brand.
But maybe if it's really good, if it's cost effective enough, I would look for the cost when I already have a logo. But at the same time, I go to school.com and I look at what the hell is going on. These guys are making 100K a month. What the hell is that, dude?
Yeah.
That's so ugly.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about one.
Exactly. I've seen
all of them are so ugly. What?
I've seen I was noticed there was a community charging $900 a month, and still it was the shittiest design I can see in 2025.
Yeah.
So I'm part of the outreach, so trying my best.
How is it going for you, the outreach?
Not great, I would say.
Okay.
I'm trying. That is I would say the most challenging thing I've ever come to in terms of running a business.
You crack it and it's the most rewarding.
Not it. It is the most boring thing.
If you crack it's the most rewarding.
It is. That I know. That's what I'm trying to learn. Even in the future, the Chris Doe's module, everything, they were forcing us to send 30 emails each week.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Thank God, we're aligned. Because I like Chris. So
He was not in there, but in the Excel program, Ben Burns and Stephanie, they are now having their own
design agency.
No, they are done.
They're done.
They are done. They're making millions using education, and their goal is good. They're not selling things just for the sake of money. If you just see their YouTube channel, you don't even need a course.
Yeah.
And people are teaching less than what the future's YouTube channel is having, and they're charging money for it.
Yeah.
And I feel very sad. I've seen such childish and kiddish questions in my DMs, which is easily available on YouTube.
But dude, it's hard to compile that. But even though they've compiled it, YouTube just has so much other shit that it'll throw at you, because YouTube is an entertainment platform. YouTube is optimized for entertainment and not information.
Okay.
You gotta have the best title and thumbnail. Recently, I dropped my best video on how to find a niche. It's only it's the worst performing video, because guess what? People want to find out how to pay their college fees, and that's not really related to a deep dive into niches, right? And might also be packaging. But I genuinely think from some people, I got really good feedback on that video. But it's not going to get views because that's purely informational, right? So those go under the radar.
Cool. So my question, coming back to the question that if you're not in need of an identity, a visual identity, it is very hard to sell to someone like that. In our industry, for example, there is a company. The whole timeline of the company, if we take it 100 years, they might need an identity or a logo rebranding for 1 or 2 times or 3 times in the whole span. Maybe 4 times, maybe 5 times, but it is very less.
Right.
So this is what I learned in the community in future, that you just have to be on top of their mind, so that whenever they need your service, they know who to get to. So that's what happened with Saiyam to getting a referral to you. So I think that is the way for our industry, for me, to work out. Would you like to add anything on that?
No, I do think branding is different, because it is like selling a car, right? You do good work, they'll buy from your brand again if you build a good product, right? So it's definitely different fundamentally. There are very few upsells that could potentially work on a retainer model when it comes to branding. It's tough, but it's also like your tickets can go really high, right?
Yeah.
As you keep improving as a designer and moving up market, you can make a damn good living. I'm sure of that, but I don't think you'll get the benefit of stability um, or consistent income.
I absolutely agree with that. When we work together, when I got you as a client, it is the Lighthouse project so far. And for those who don't know, Lighthouse project or Lighthouse client, would you like to tell us about that?
So we had this thing in IIRW where we explained there are like two types of main clients that you really want to take. One is a cash cow where you make a bunch of money, right? Even though they're not well known, they're not giving you referrals, they're not exactly going to help you get more clients, right? By mentioning their name, because maybe not a lot of people know them. Then there's the other type of client, which is a lighthouse client, which is very well known in your industry. You can use their name to get more clients. You can ask them for referrals perhaps, and they're just like emanating light. So they're showing you like they're a bit of light in a darkness so that you can see and get more clients in a way, right? And everyone knows them, everyone can see the lighthouse.
Would you give me a referral?
I don't know anyone who's wanting to start a company, right? That's the
Patience.
thing. I mean, I'm
Whenever.
sure I will.
Yeah, thank you. Just a seamless plug.
Yeah.
No worries. Cool. So moving ahead about the main topic about freelancing. Is it okay to stay as a freelancer and not to start an agency?
Dude, there's more profit in that. I mean,
I
in
know,
the
but,
agency, there's more profit in being a freelancer, is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
tell me, yeah, more.
Because
Tell me
once
more
you
on
start an agency, you've got to deal with people, you've got to pay them in the first, like when you start an agency, the first thing you've got to do is hire someone really good. If you want to do it the right way, boom, like three grand, 2 to 3 grand a month USD gone every month, right? In decent payroll. I don't believe in how people pay here. It's stupid. So
It's stupid.
pay 2 to 3 grand a month.
20,000 a month, full time.
I don't know all
I've
that.
seen,
I don't associate. I don't know.
like I've
different
seen
words.
people who have good skill getting 20,000 a month. I'm like, man, I'm never going to hire my first employees for 20,000. At least I'm going to
Dude,
pay.
you
1
do
lakh.
that, then you accept that from clients as well.
Yeah,
You've got to treat your employees how you
Exactly.
want your clients,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So do that, pay good. And the moment you pay that, assume you're as a freelancer, you're capped at like 7K, right? You can't exceed 7K a month. And I know this might be not relevant for designers because slash month is not really relevant, right? But assume 7K a month, your first employee, boom, you're at 5K a month now, 4K a month. And it's going to take you a while to climb back up. And then you need to hire again. So it's your margins start going down, and you have phases where they increase a lot. But to be able to unlock capacity to go to the next phase, you invest again, right? So it's constant like that as an agency. But if you're happy with making 5 grand, 7 grand, even 10 grand profit, right? If that's what you want to do, I think being a freelancer is easier than being an agency.
Yeah, in my experience, there is no overhead cost. Everything is my personal cost, and I can go anywhere if
Yeah.
I have good money. So, I think, and there is one more thing in our industry. If there is someone a creative, a designer, who loves to create something, like I love to create logos and design the whole identity.
Right.
I might hire someone to help me with mockups or some minor task or help me with creative inputs, but I still want to be part of the work, and not just one work, each work, because it is who I am. I want to be known because of I did something for a particular client and they looks good. People are able to trust them. For example, IIRW, I've got really good appreciations and validation from the community itself, and from people of different communities, from sections community. So that is something that I live for. So it will be. What would you suggest? It will be a good decision to stay as a freelancer as long as you want.
Yeah, dude. As long as you want, and if you've really found your purpose this early in life, like you're like you should be happy, man. So
I
keep
don't
doing
know.
it.
I see. There, Hayao Miyazaki,
Who?
Ghibli Studios founder,
Okay.
director. Yeah. So he goes by like people in the Japan. They don't want to retire.
He's
Just
like
might-
85,
Yeah,
90.
yeah, yeah.
How old is he
This
now? Is
Ghibli
he
trend.
alive?
He is alive.
Okay.
He is alive. And this trend, the whole Ghibli trend on ChatGPT, Miyazaki's artist style and all, and he despises and he hates this AI thing. and all.
God damn. That must
Yeah.
feel bad.
You should. I'll show you the video after this. The video was about 2016 when the couple of people were showing them like we can use machine to build art, create art. And it was like, where is humanity going? So
I don't think I think AI supplementing creativity and even
it
designing
is,
things is
but
good. I don't like this stealing part of it where
Exactly,
it's totally
exactly.
taking Ghibli.
Yeah.
The Ghibli style is not okay.
Yeah.
A new style is fine.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's still, I think they have stopped now. They are
The
not,
Ghibli is done?
Yeah, Ghibli is stopped. No, not Ghibli is done. OpenAI creating Ghibli images is stopped.
Oh,
now.
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
That's done?
yeah, that is stopped.
Okay.
Because of this whole backlash and all. But still, they collected so many user faces with their permission.
Yikes.
Everyone was creating an image.
But dude, they have it anyway, dude. You post on YouTube, you get Instagram, you're there anyway. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, there is always a digital footprint of you. Yeah.
Especially like creators. You're look at this, you're gone. Your face is gone already. Don't worry.
Yeah, I've been creating content for so long. Yeah, cool. So coming back to our point, to the question that I think you explained it pretty well about freelancing. So if you are happy doing what you are doing as a freelancer, do not rush into starting an agency just because you want that founder's tag. Correct?
Yeah, it's cringe.
That's the best thing I've ever heard about it. Glad you agree on this part. Because I've seen a lot of agency founder like, build a company, start a company, do it, have a team. I'm like,
It's cool.
It's cool, but they don't show the hard part.
It's cool, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, try it. You know, maybe one day you'll like it. Then maybe you want to go back.
In my,
knows?
I have to add on that. In my industry, in our industry, especially the identity space, design space, there are two people who I know who are great in terms of we look up to in terms of their design, their creativity, and their work, and the client they have worked with. So they recently, both of them, recently in the last 1 or 2 years, they had their own agency going on, good studios, like everything. They just diminished everything, like dissolved and fired everyone. Not fired, like let everyone go
yeah.
and get back into a job in a really good position as a creative lead or as an associate creative director. Maitri and Apeksha, I'm talking about you if you're watching. So yeah. So I think that is also an option. You should not. Do you think like if you are starting an agency, if you have started an agency and it is not working well, it is better to go back to a job. Coming back to the same point that we.
This
talked
is a
earlier.
really difficult question for me to answer.
What do you think?
I don't think I could. So I don't know how I would advise others, right?
Okay. But for someone that, like you mentioned, if it is not working for a long time and you know it,
Right.
then you should.
It depends also on how you do in jobs, right?
Yeah.
I know Aman, for example, who used to be co-host of Fuck Ups, and we did a founders house together. Aman cannot do jobs. He had one job in 2 months. He went through 3 jobs, full time 3 jobs, each paying him like 4 or 5 grand USD a month, 5K USD a month,
Okay.
each of these jobs, right?
Okay.
Got fired thrice.
Huh.
He just doesn't have a job suit. Like he cannot,
Okay.
right? That's the TLDR. So it
It's all
depends on
subjective,
person to
yeah.
person. If you like being managed with, and I don't say this with any, like, I don't look down on that, nor do I, like, I think there's nothing to be ashamed of in that. That, oh yeah, if you like to be managed, if you're better when you're managed, then absolutely, maybe you should do a job. And then on the other hand, it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't. I have a thing, like I want to do something big, I don't think, unless maybe I'm working, then I'll just become the co-founder, right? If I want to make enough impact in a business, eventually I'll just become like top level executive there in order to really make a change or make an impact.
Yeah.
So even in a job, it's like, sure, I'll just be an entrepreneur, right? I don't know. I think that's just people,
That's interesting.
you know.
yeah. Talking about freelancing and agencies in the current space, what do you think everyone is doing wrong? The most important thing.
Paying 20K to interns.
Full time.
It makes no sense, dude. Then you're going to attract clients that pay you 20K, right? Like, it is,
And about freelancers, like what freelancers are doing wrong?
freelancers, let's see. I think they don't know how to package themselves still. I think
Good one.
as much as racist as this sounds coming from me, I think the accent does play a big part when trying to sell to US clients. And I think just not being able to sell to Western clients is a big thing. Because half the problems you just mentioned earlier, it rarely happens in Western markets. You're not going to get someone who's going to micromanage because they sort of know.
Exactly.
Obviously, you will get people who micromanage you lower tickets, but your ticket in itself will be generally higher. They have more money to spend. And probably slightly more modern design sense, right? So I think not being able to package themselves up and not being able to crack the Western market, which is the entire mission that, I'm trying to solve.
That's cool. That's interesting. If you talk about this thing, sales, the most important thing, do you think freelancers or creative person who's doing his own business, if he's sucking at sales, he should outsource us or
Learn it.
learn it?
Learn it.
Learn it.
You'll suck, you'll lose business, but continue learning it.
Okay.
Uh,
No other option. If you learn it, then you cannot delegate it, but do not outsource it. What would you say?
No, man. I think continue because it's the best thing you can do for yourself. It'll take you a year, right? You lose so much money, you lose so many deals. But in a year, when you start getting better and better, it'll go throughout your life because you're learning psychology. It's not just sales; it's a lot more than that, right? And yeah, if possible, get a co-founder who's good at sales because I feel like I had a huge advantage going into sales because of Arthur, right?
Okay.
He's been doing sales for years. So at like the first few sales calls, I just had him run it and I was just joining. I was watching him how he does it. And then I just started mimicking him. And then he started making me do sales calls, like letting me lead it. And he just hopped off. He didn't, So I got a really soft launch into sales and I still sucked at it.
Really?
Yeah. I at the start, obviously, it's a skill. I'm antisocial. Back then I was an introvert. Now I'm okay with people. So yeah.
Cool. So, guys, sales is the most important thing. If you are into freelance, if you're into your business. So, talking about your, this would be something different. What had been your lowest point as a freelancer, as an agency owner? And how did you get out of it?
I had to make a choice. This was because, Arthur once, at this point, I was working with Iman. Okay, I was working a full-time job. I was paying more than $5,000 USD a month.
Okay.
My family was dependent on that income, right? And I was making $1 to $2,000 from the agency. But at the same time, so there were two parts to this, right? There's Atomic Growth, there's Total Growth, which was before Atomic Growth, right? Okay. Which was my agency, my short form agency.
It to Arthur.
Yes, before I met Arthur, my agency was called Total Growth. Coincidence. It was actually growth. I was not related at all. And I had my own short form clients. So I was making around $10,000. I had to make a choice to sort of leave all that and join Atomic. And so I was working at Atomic as well, as a operations manager, right, in a way. And I was learning a lot of things from Arthur. So it was do I jump ship now? Because then he basically, we spoke about it for a while. And at one point, I had to decide. Total Growth, my job, or Atomic.
Oh.
And it was an all-in thing. Okay, this is it. I cannot keep doing all this. There's one.
So you chose Atomic Growth. Yeah.
And I left $8-9 per month for something I was paying me 2-3.
But now you are at what? More than 50?
Yeah.
Again, same thing. You can connect the dots backwards.
Yeah, but this is more connected because look, that was a decision. I knew the decision. The decision was already made in my heart.
Yeah.
It was just hard. Things can go wrong. It can fuck up.
Same thing happened with me when I was about to quit my job.
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah.
Cool.
You say?
Why did you name your podcast? Fuck
No, you were saying.
I was saying about my job. The same thing happened with me when I was about to quit my job. Yeah, all in. Because for the initial 2 years of my college, I was doing academics, not even studying, just studying to pass the exams and all, and doing design. Then I got into job, full-time design.
Yeah.
But I'm working under someone. Now I have to make a decision to do it all my own because I know I'm not a job person. I have done more than 3 jobs, but everything lost it. The longest job that I was into was 9 months in Bangalore, and before it was 3 months, 2 months, like that. So I realized that I don't think I'm a job person. I will do it if I need to do it, and I did it. Now I'm here,
Nice.
and I still don't feel ashamed if I have to go back to a job. So that is also there. I just want to state it in the public because a lot of my
I
content
agree.
is about freelancing, and if people will see like it is like he again went back to a job, what was all about? So it is what I can say, hardship to hard sea to cross, I would say, but it's the reward is great, high risk, high reward. So that is there.
Indeed.
One more. This thing has been in my mind for a while. You are young, very young. So how do you deal with clients who are paying you good amount of money? Like how have you been able to gain trust? Has your
trust.
age been any problem?
Nobody's ever. There's only been one prospect who is not our client, didn't become a client, who's ever asked me about my age.
Cool. You don't look 20 by the way.
Nobody has ever asked me for my degree. Nobody's ever asked me for my age.
That's
And even
nice.
when I didn't have a beard, when I was super young, when I had those glasses and short hair,
Yeah, so, yeah.
even then, nobody ever asked.
Cool. And do you think if you were dealing with Indian clients, specifically based in India, you might have faced that problem?
I don't know because I never did. So I don't know.
Cool. No worries.
Maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know the answer. So yeah.
No worries. Cool. That is great. One of the best red flag that you had in your client, that on prospect, not a client,
Yeah.
and you said immediately, no, we don't work. We have to get out of this. Like,
Wrong. There's not been like immediately, but there are a few things that can stack up. One of them is like, unrealistic expectations. I don't know if this happens with branding.
it happened. I told
how?
you this code thing, the legal notice at my parents' home.
Yeah.
Because of unrealistic.
But that's
expectation.
micromanagement, no?
That was a different thing.
Okay.
I got two cases.
Where she
clients.
wanted too much.
I will tell you.
Yeah.
Sorry if you are confused. There was two cases. The one was in December, and the second one, which was this micromanaging thing, it happened recently in last week. So in the December client, that we started the project very small ticket, 60,000. I got 50% advance, and we started the project. Initially when I was doing freelancing and all, and it went south.
So then 4 months ghosted?
That is another client. Don't mind.
Yeah.
So this particular thing, when I got this legal notice, because I did not pay the advance, because you don't pay the refund advance after doing 1 month of work. So the whole thing was going on for 1 month, and he's like, "Oh, we are not satisfied. Let's close. Give me back the money." That was one of the nightmare client I had.
Yeah.
So unrealistic opinion, I have hands-on experience, and it happens a lot, especially in India. So yeah, that is there.
Yeah. Sell abroad.
Sorry.
Sell abroad. You'll face different problems.
That is what I'm trying.
But,
okay. Anything you would like to mention?
While selling abroad, you just got to be way more professional, man. I feel.
Okay. That's why you started IIRW, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be more professional. You've got to know your stuff more. But honestly, it's people at the end of the day, whether they're Indian, whether they're different. Like, it's just maybe a small culture gap. I don't think it would differ way too much. But your English needs to be good.
English, yep. And especially the accent.
Accent, yeah, but not as much as your English, because English also includes written communication, right?
Yeah.
Outreach is like half the job.
I see
The other
people
part is,
using small I.
I small I, bro, etc.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't work.
Yeah. Cool.
It'll work for like the crypto niche, right? Like people will get mad when I say bro doesn't work.
Oh.
Like obviously it'll work in like those bro niches, which are stupid ones. But yeah,
You never went into crypto niche, selling your services to
I was
crypto
in
people?
info, I guess, for one client with Iman, right? Because of Iman, like another client I got was also in the info space. He was a bit scammy, needed the money, so
Oh.
yeah.
Cool. Do you ever feel the pressure being young, like doing more things? As you mentioned, money is never enough. So, is there things that you think I haven't done anything?
All the time, man.
All the
I don't
time?
think I've done anything yet.
Yeah, this man here is making $50,000.
That's
more than
agency
50,000
revenue,
a
though.
month. Yeah.
It's split. Look at this.
Hmm.
Eshaan, Bian. So it's not me making 50,000. It's the team as well.
It's the team, yeah. Okay. How much do you think you would have been making if you were still freelancing?
Freelancing
Yeah.
with
not
the
like-
current knowledge I have.
Yeah. In a different alternate universe.
If right now
Uh-huh.
I had no agency and I wanted to do something, I'd probably get a job first of all.
Okay. Cool.
Right?
Why so?
Because right now I think I could get a job of creative lead in one of the biggest VC firms.
That's
Right.
interesting.
and that'd probably get me to like 400 grand, 300 grand a year, at least.
That's great. That's great. And you would be free to work from
I
anywhere.
might be delusional. I have no idea if I would even get a job, right? maybe, right?
Cool. Alternate universe.
Because of the amazing podcasts and the clients I've worked with and the stuff we've been able to do for them under an agency as one of the co-founders, I think it wouldn't be too difficult for me to go and get a job in one of these venture funds who need someone internal, who want someone internal to do what I've done as an external.
And you mentioned about Iman. How was your experience working with Iman? Iman Gadzi?
God, that's sensitive, man.
Bad, good, something else?
No comments.
Why so?
Because,
You enjoyed working with him?
no.
No.
I learned a lot
Okay.
and I'm grateful.
Okay. But you did not enjoy?
No.
Cool. That I was not expecting. No one would have been expecting that. Because even the name drop is
Like,
huge.
first of all, to clarify, Iman himself, he joined like maybe 10, 15 calls,
Oh.
right? It's not like every meeting was with Iman. He did join for a bit, like consistently, and it was really cool, right? But every time Iman wasn't there,
No worries.
yeah.
Cool. I understand. Yeah. So, to conclude whatever we have talked about, one golden piece of advice to a young person who is in like 90s or in your age, want to go big, try to do something great. One golden piece of advice. What would you say?
Before I answer this, Vaibhav, what is your biggest fuck up?
Biggest fuck up. I am in debt.
Really? How did
Yeah,
that
maybe.
happen?
Maybe because I'm not having I'm doing something wrong. I know. You can say I'm in learning, and
Why go in debt? Necessity?
I never had a savings.
Okay.
I'm bad with money.
Okay.
I'm really bad with money. But we had a great project.
Yeah.
I don't know where it went. So, and I'm trying my best to learn more
Why don't
about
you
money.
just take this one expense tracker I have?
I
take
have.
that
I started.
and
last
log
week.
every expense, dude.
Everything. Even the Uber I use.
Yeah,
have
I do
login
that
Everything.
to today. Like I do that till
You did
today.
that?
I have a log, like even 100, not 100, but like anything above a certain amount, I have like full logs of, oh, that went there.
I know, I have been avoiding this for so long. Like, I've been making decent amount of money for the last 1-2 years,
Yeah.
but I'm not honestly, I'm not satisfied because of the way I'm spending
Yeah.
money. Like, chalo, aaj ye man kiya kharid liya, kal wo man kiya kharid liya. Impulse purchases, impulse buying, and then living on credit cards. So the debt
Yikes.
is all on credit cards. So,
Dude,
like,
pay that
living-
off fast.
That's the whole game. That's the whole point. So that is the biggest fuck up. I've been in the industry for so long, but I have nothing to show as a.
You don't
as I
need
say.
money, you need knowledge.
I have
we
good
spend,
knowledge.
We spend it all as well.
Yeah, same thing. But debt is not good. So
That
I'm
is
trying
not
to get out of the debt and live a comfortable, cash positive life. So that's the biggest fuck
I
up.
wouldn't save too much. Save maybe 3 months if you're alone. If you don't have family to take care of, save 3 months. If you have family, then
I've never
a
saved
year.
more than 1 lakh. So that is something I am trying to do. So,
Yeah. And
I have never
Okay.
talked about this.
fair enough. That's why you have the fuck up as well.
Cool.
Um,
And
what would I tell myself? It's really hard to get your first client. So if I never had a job or never really if I started directly into freelancing or agency, I think I would have really just told myself the first is the toughest.
first is the toughest. Yeah. I got my first client for 100 rupees.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to count that, but I mean
don't
the
count
first
that, yeah.
legit,
First
proper
legit
client, you
yeah,
know.
it was good, yeah, but it took me a while. It took me a year after that 100 rupees.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. The first is the hardest, and then life gets easier.
Yeah. Cool. So this was the episode 12 and the first episode in the physical format with Subha Vadvani, and I think you guys got a lot to learn from this podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Subha.